The Xantharian council chambers echoed with crystalline laughter as Ambassador Veltharion presented the latest human research proposal. His elongated cranium, housing a brain 3 times the size of any human's, gleamed under the chamber's neural enhancement lighting. Esteemed colleagues, Veltharion's mental projection resonated through the assembled minds. The humans wish to contribute to our 1,000-year quantum consciousness project. They believe their primitive neural networks can somehow advance our understanding of multidimensional thought space. More laughter rippled through the chamber. The Xantharians had spent millennia perfecting their intellectual superiority, genetically enhancing their cognitive abilities until they could process information at speeds that would liquefy lesser minds. Their science had unlocked the secrets of 16 dimensions, bent space-time to their will, and created technology that seemed like magic to younger species. Their computational matrices barely function in 3-dimensional space, chimed researcher Kithelen, her thoughts dripping with condescension. Their neurons fire at such sluggish rates that watching them think is like observing continental drift. Dr. Sarah Chen sat quietly in the observation gallery, her simple human brain recording every word. Beside her, Professor Ahmed Hassan adjusted his basic tablet, primitive technology compared to the Xantharians' direct neural interfaces. Neither showed any reaction to the mockery. Perhaps, suggested High Scholar Morthane, we should allow them to observe our work. They might learn something before their species inevitably stagnates and fades into cosmic irrelevance. The council voted unanimously to grant humans limited access to their research stations, treating it as an educational charity rather than collaboration. They assigned the humans to Laboratory 7, a dusty wing containing their oldest, most obsolete equipment. Dr. Chen and her team of 12 researchers began their work the next day. The Xantharians had given them access to basic quantum processing arrays, technology the advanced species considered ancient. To human eyes, it was miraculous. Look at them, whispered lab supervisor Kelthin to his colleague as they watched through the observation panels. They're actually excited about 3rd-generation quantum processors. It's almost endearing. But something peculiar began happening in Laboratory 7. The humans weren't just studying the equipment, they were modifying it. Dr. Chen had noticed inefficiencies in the quantum coherence chambers that the Xantharians had overlooked for centuries. Professor Hassan discovered that by introducing controlled chaos into the processing matrices, computational speeds increased exponentially. Impossible, muttered Kelthin when the first reports reached him. Their modifications should have destroyed the equipment. Instead, the human-modified systems were outperforming Xantharian technology by margins that shouldn't exist. The humans had taken 1,000-year-old equipment and made it superior to current Xantharian designs. Dr. Lisa Park, the team's youngest member, made the breakthrough that changed everything. While the Xantharians had spent millennia perfecting linear thought processes, she approached the quantum consciousness problem from an entirely different angle. What if consciousness isn't about processing speed or brain size? She wondered aloud to her colleagues. What if it's about connection patterns and creative integration? She began mapping human neural networks not as computational systems, but as creative probability generators. While Xantharian brains could process vast amounts of data with perfect accuracy, human brains did something the advanced species had never considered valuable. They made intuitive leaps, found patterns in chaos and generated novel solutions through apparent randomness. Working through the night, a concept foreign to Xantharians who processed continuously, the human team developed what they called chaotic quantum consciousness modeling. They fed their modified processors random data patterns inspired by human dream states, emotional fluctuations, and creative inspiration. The results were staggering. By morning, their primitive equipment had solved theoretical problems that had puzzled Xantharian scientists for centuries. The chaotic processing patterns had unlocked 17 new dimensions of thought space and revealed computational possibilities that purely logical systems could never reach. Ambassador Veltharion arrived at Laboratory 7 expecting to find amusing human confusion. Instead, he discovered that the weak-minded species had rewritten the fundamental principles of quantum consciousness overnight. Explain this, he demanded, his enhanced brain struggling to comprehend the data streaming from human-modified processors. Dr. Chen smiled. another uniquely human expression that conveyed meaning beyond words. Your brains are incredibly powerful, Ambassador, but they're limited by their perfection. You optimized for logic, accuracy, and processing speed. You eliminated the chaos. Chaos is inefficient, Veltharion replied, though uncertainty crept into his mental projection. No, Professor Hassan interjected. Chaos is creative. It's where new possibilities emerge. Your quantum consciousness project failed because you tried to impose order on consciousness itself. But consciousness isn't orderly. It's beautifully, productively chaotic. Within hours, news of the human breakthrough spread throughout Xantharian space. The species that had mocked humanity's weak minds now faced an uncomfortable reality. Their pursuit of intellectual perfection had created a fundamental blind spot. They had optimized themselves out of creativity, innovation, and intuitive problem-solving. The Xantharian Council convened an emergency session, their enhanced minds racing to process this paradigm shift. The humans they had dismissed as intellectually inferior had not only advanced their science but revealed the limitations of their supposedly superior consciousness. Perhaps, High Scholar Morthane transmitted hesitantly, we should reconsider our understanding of intelligence itself. Dr. Chen was invited to address the full council, an honor never before extended to a primitive species. She stood before the assembled Xantharian minds, her small human brain crackling with the chaotic energy that her species had never tried to suppress. Intelligence isn't about processing power or brain size, she said simply. It's about the courage to think differently, to embrace uncertainty, and to find connections where none seem to exist. You built perfect minds, but perfection is the enemy of innovation. The Xantharian Council fell silent, their enhanced brains struggling with a concept their optimization had eliminated: humility. In Laboratory 7, human laughter echoed through the halls, not the crystalline mockery of supposed superiority, but the warm, chaotic sound of minds that had never tried to perfect themselves out of possibility. The universe suddenly seemed much larger and more mysterious than even the Xantharians had imagined. And for the first time in millennia, they realized they still had much to learn.